So guys, we got a pretty big problem with Whitey here. You know, our twin turbo 5.2 liter Magnum. He's doing something that we don't want him to do. Fluffy's gonna record, I'm gonna fire him up, and let's show you guys what he's doing. So let's get Whitey back in the shop and let's get that rear diff welded together, because you guys voted that you want to see the rear diff welded up. So let's pull him in, get him up on the hoist. Sick, nasty. Yeah. So Whitey's all set up on the lift. You guys saw that really sad one wheel peel out of Whitey. Well, that's not gonna kick it for us. We gotta have both those wheels spinning at all times. This is a 4x4 drag truck. We can't have a 4x2 out of a 4-wheel drive truck. So you guys voted on our YouTube story right there. 35% of you guys wanted the welding of the rear diff on the white truck. So guys, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed and make sure you hit that bell notification so you guys can choose the next video we make when we put a poll out there on YouTube stories. And you guys gotta check out all our new videos, because Whitey is something you guys do not want to miss. This twin turbo stock 5.2 liter Magnum is a beast, as you guys heard in the background. So right now, me and Fluffy are about to get the truck lifted up on the hoist, and we'll get those rear wheels off, and we'll show you guys exactly what you need to do to lock both those rear tires together. Woo! So the first thing we gotta do, guys, is we actually have to pull the rims and tires off of each side, because we're gonna do this right. We're actually gonna pull the whole differential carrier out of it and TIG weld it on the bench. So we get diff cover out. We got a bunch of 1/2" or 13 mil bolts we gotta take out. Make sure you got a nice drain pan like we do right here, so we can catch all this diff fluid that comes out. All right, so we get to your last 2 bolts right here, guys. So what you're gonna do is you're actually going to just loosen them like that. Then you're gonna take a hammer and a screwdriver, starting right here, and you're gonna just tap her in there. Ooh, wow, fluid looks pretty good. And we just loosen those top 2 bolts, guys, so it just holds that cover so it doesn't come falling down with all the fluid. Now we'll get these top 2 out. And boom, we got our differential right there. Beautiful. So, how can you tell if you have an open diff versus an actual posi track or something that locks it together? One way of knowing, of course, is like what we did. Go do a burnout, see what, if your one wheel peels, you know you got an open diff or your posi's worn out. So, but once you get in here, you can see there's spider gears on the inside right here. Very easy way to tell is turn the wheel and you can see that axle spinning the opposite way of what this axle's spinning. And that tells you you got an open diff. Other way you can look too. So if you can see clutches behind the spider gear right here, that usually means you have a posi track. Those clutches are replaceable, and we did make a video about it. If you guys want to see how to replace some clutches in your rear differential, check that video out right here.
One thing to take into consideration, leave your truck in neutral.
Yes. Alright, so now we got our differential. Make sure you put it in neutral, don't forget like I did. We're going to take this bolt out right here, and we'll see this guy slide out. So once you get here, you got a 5/16. Loosen this guy up, just like that. If you are having troubles loosening it like that, you can take a hammer and smack this like an impact, and it'll break it loose really good. But let's get this bolt out, and then we'll show you how the pin comes out. Alright, we got this pin bolt out, guys, so now the actual pin can just slide out ever so nicely. Like that. So now we gotta push the axles forward, and we're gonna see some C-clips fall out.
Just like that.
Yep. There's one right there. And the other side.
Just like that.
There's the other one. So now we got the C-clip out, guys. You can see right here, the actual C-clip where it goes is right there, and you can see it fits ever so perfectly inside of there. And then all you would do is get that lined up and push the axle out, and it's got a nice spot for it to sit in. So Fluffy's cleaning this diff out. We're probably gonna use a few cans of brake clean because we're actually gonna tack weld the differential spider gears where they are, and then we'll pull the whole diff out and get it TIG welded on the bench. But we need a very clean area to actually get the first welds on there. So we just got done cleaning the rear differential with brake clean, JT did, and we're gonna weld this. So we're gonna take a torch to it and burn off whatever's left. We got our air hose right here if it gets a little crazy. Otherwise, we got a fire extinguisher right there to the right of JT. So let's see what happens. Aww.
Lame!
I thought we were gonna have a big ball of fire, boys. We got nothing. All right, so now we got the welder right here. We're gonna tack weld it into place. We got the pin put back in. We have the axle shafts in. So it has those spider gears all aligned. So when we go over and TIG weld it, we know it's perfectly centered and we're not gonna have issues putting it all back together because this is a C-clip axle and we don't wanna weld just the axles to it too because we might wanna go to a locker later in life, but for now, welding the rear diff is an awesome option. We got the welder right here. We're gonna preheat it a little bit with this torch and then we're gonna tack weld it in. So we got one pretty good tack on there. I think that's gonna be good enough. So now we're gonna get the actual rear diff out of it and get it actually TIG welded up on the bench. So guys, so on the differential right here, you have to loosen the caps and it doesn't just make the diff fall out. There's actually adjustable thread spacers right here that actually set the preload and the backlash for the ring gears. So you need a special tool like something like this right here. The nut size measures in at 36 millimeters or 35.5 millimeters to be exact. So let me show you guys how to back these adjusters off. You have to come over here, put her in through the hole, and get her lined in just like that. And then with a big ratchet, you can crack them loose. And count the number of turns you do, so when you put it back together, you can remember, which I just forgot. So we're gonna actually have to torque this. And what that does is actually back those adjusters off, so now when we pull the caps off, the differential will just fall out. So we're gonna do the other side, and then we'll get that differential out. Caps off, these do only go in one way and one way only, because this whole thing is line honed. So remember the order of which way they go in. So nice easy methods just to put it on the ground the exact same way that you take it off. And then your whole differential comes out. Careful with the caps.
Make sure you grab.
Yeah, make sure you don't drop the caps on the ground. Like that, we got one differential. Alright, we're going to clean that off a little bit better in our wash bay and then we'll get to welding it.
So in order for Eric to weld this, we need to take the ring gear off so he has access to everything on the inside. One thing to keep in mind with these is that they are all right-hand threads, so righty-loosey on all of these. See that? Lefty-tighty. Righty-loosey. Put your socket back on, hit it with a metal hammer. Ooh, I think that was the money right there. It was. Just like that, it comes right off.
So now that JT's cleaned this thing super well and got the gear off, I got the TIG welder all set up. We turned her up all the way. We're gonna preheat it. We got a big cup on our TIG head torch, and I'm gonna start TIG welding this guy all together. We also still have our pin installed, so we have that pin and axle alignments not off. So let's get straight into this. All right, so we got this diff really hot. We're gonna start welding this guy together. See how well this dirty, oily differential actually TIG welds. Well, it's pretty good, but we gotta keep welding. 1 inch, clean them out of scrap metal or in there or something. No, I get something thick out of there, dude. So we just got done welding the full rear diff, so we added some little bolts in here and welded the teeth together. As you guys can see, this thing is freaking bomb-proof. Welded, and then we didn't touch the insides at all because of course we got to get those C-clips in, and that pin still needs to come out. So we welded it with the pin in there. So we know our alignment's all good on the thing. We're just waiting for it to cool. Then we'll get the ring gear installed, back installed, and then we will be putting the rear diff all back together. Now we're gonna actually start heating up the ring gear so it pulls up onto the differential housing so we can get some bolts started in it. And then we got our torque wrench out. About 6 or 7 ugga-duggas will do her about good.
Make sure you get all your bolts started before you torque it down with the ugga-duggas.
So JT's gonna get this differential slapped in here, and then we're gonna get our bearing caps started tight. Let's see if he can not drop on a cap. Oh wow, look at that.
This is my first time.
So we're just getting these kind of started, just snug. Too snug. Alright, so with our special tool now, we're going to go for proper bearing preload and backlash. So in order to do that, we have to start on the passenger side. And we're going to get our tool installed in the actual caps. There we go. So we're going to take our ratchet and we're going to tighten this side down until we feel a little contact. So about right there. So right now, if we came over to the differential, we're gonna have zero backlash whatsoever. It's gonna be way too tight. So we need to back this guy off, and we're gonna back him off probably, I don't know, let's do about 1/8 of a turn. And then, I'm gonna grab the 1/2 inch. Then we're gonna come over to the driver's side. And we're going to tighten this guy down. We're going to torque this down to 10 foot-pounds, which is right there. And then we're going to go on the passenger side.
Driver's side.
Driver's side. And torque this bearing cap. adjuster to 10 foot-pounds.
For the record, it does take a little bit of finessing with this special tool to get it in its proper location.
I'll grab that 1/2 inch torque wrench. $10 foot-pounds. And now we're going to tighten our bearing caps down, and then we'll check backlash. And if it's too tight of backlash, we'll back this driver's side nut off more. And if it's too loose of backlash, we'll back the passenger side off and tighten the driver's side so it moves that whole ring gear towards the pinion or away from the pinion. Get our main bearing caps to 100 foot-pounds. Double checking them all. And then we're going to check backlash. And what backlash actually is how much lash between the pinion gear and ring gear. So how much those teeth actually mesh up is backlash. So you hear that little clunking right there? That's backlash. And that feels actually pretty good. We're going to call that good. That's probably 8 thousandths, probably a little loose. We could probably tighten this side a tiny bit more. But these are old gears, so it'll be good to go. She might howl a little bit. You want to get between like that 4 thousandths to 6 thousandths is like the sweet spot in backlash. And you get that with a dial indicator. I've done a lot of rear differentials and I can do them by feel now. So now we just got to get the whole rear diff put back together, and then you guys are going to see us do a 2-wheel peel out in my driveway here in about 2 seconds. Alright guys, we got Whitie put all back together as you can see. So right now we're going to back them up and see if we can actually do a 2-wheel peel unlike that lame 1-wheel peel we did before. Got stuck. No snow over there at all.
New way to plow your driveway. Just do burnouts everywhere.
All the way. 2-wheel peel for the win. Woo! So guys, if you guys want to pick up a Racing Ram Fam t-shirt like me and JT are wearing, email me at keepitboosted@racingramfam.com. But as always guys, keep it boosted and we'll see you next time. Peace!